Life felt like as good as it could possibly be for a sophomore in high school. I was a 2-sport varsity athlete. It's softball conditioning. And I remember going to practice, lining up for sprints. And we get to the end of that running and I realize like I'm coming in dead last. And so I remember just like huffing and puffing and just being like, what's going on? Like something feels off. I went home and I told my mom and I was just like, for whatever reason, when I run, it feels like I'm carrying 300 pounds of extra weight, and I'm exhausted. Something doesn't feel right. I remember walking into the doctor's office, kind of giving myself a little bit of a pep talk of like, whatever this is, whatever they say, you'll get to the other side of this. Whatever it is, you're gonna be okay, you'll pull through. She looks at me very somberly, Shelbi, I'm pretty sure that you're showing signs of a really rare neuromuscular disease. I remember just the shock of hearing the doctor say, I'm pretty sure that this is what you're gonna have. And sure enough, her educated guess became my reality. I was diagnosed with limb-girdle muscular dystrophy. It's a disease that is progressive and it basically deteriorates your muscles over time. My body basically lacks the protein to be able to regenerate muscle. And now every time I overexert my energy or I go too hard or do too much and I break down muscle, it no longer has the capacity to rebuild. With this type of disease, there's no treatment, there's no cure. So I go back to that pep talk, of like, whatever it is, you'll get on the other side of it, you'll beat it. And then getting that diagnosis and realizing, oh my gosh, there's no getting to the other side of this. I had grown up at Southeast my whole life, and I had heard incredible stories of people getting on the platform and talking about how, they had gone through something really hard, but God had met them. Growing up and hearing stories like that, I kind of just was like, that's what you do. You encounter something hard, but you trust the Lord, and it's all gonna be okay. I did that for about 10 years. My mentality was, when life got hard, just try harder and be better. And it was working, honestly. I married the love of my life, and I'm doing really well in all of these areas of my life. All of the things that I had managed and controlled and was doing really well at, I all of a sudden was not doing really well at. My body and the disease was hitting in a totally different way. I was feeling more exhausted and was losing my ability to do lots of other things pretty quickly in that period of time. I walked into work one day and had my first panic attack. That was like a turning point moment where I was having to come to terms with all of the ways that I was trying to manage and control the pain and the disappointment of my life. It wasn't working anymore. It turned into just this deep, deep pit of depression. Here I am, I'm a youth pastor. Part of my job is to help students, and they come to me with the reality of having to navigate anxiety. And I had sat with a lot of students who had dealt with intrusive thoughts and suicidal ideation. But then when you start experiencing it for yourself, I just kind of spiraled. I'm now at the point where I'm afraid of what I might do to myself. I don't think that I actually want to be here anymore. And saying that out loud to my husband, if I have to actually live life with a disability, I don't know if I want to live. I ended up checking into an inpatient trauma rehab facility. I had spent so much of my life trying to bypass my way through the pain of living life with a disability. When I would just come honestly before him with the truth of what was really going on, he was there. The truth about a day that I would come into where there is no more pain and no more sorrow, I knew that to be true. But when you're at your worst and you're not so sure you want to live anymore, that's ultimately where it took me. And I think it was Jesus redefining the kingdom is here and now, and it's in and with me, that totally shifted my perspective. It's being with you, it's doing life with you, it's receiving your love and and loving you in return, because I can be loved in the midst of my desperate need and my deep longings because he meets me there. That's real victory. Victory is not on the other side of a hardship. Victory is knowing that you are loved. You are loved. You are loved by God in the midst of what you're experiencing. That's real victory.